Okay, before you guys watch this video, I just have to let you know that I messed around with the settings on my camera so much and the quality ended up being like trash and I was so upset. But I worked so hard on this video and as you can see by this footage right here, it ended up coming out so good and my camera quality is fine. I just messed it up. So please, please, please watch till the end. It is so worth it, I promise you. And yeah, enjoy the video. Hey guys, and welcome to day 2 of my 12 days of Christmas looks here on my YouTube channel, as well as my TikTok, shameless self-promo. So if you are following me on TikTok, you would see that I have a list numbered 1 to 12 of different Christmas characters and Christmas themes that I can kind of turn into a makeup look. And each day I stick my little hand in there, pick out a number, and then whichever number I pick, that is the look that I have to do for today. So I'm sure you already saw the title and the thumbnail. Hopefully it's looking good. I am going to be turning myself into a Christmas lights sugar skull or skull-esque type thing, and I am not the first person to do this. I got so much inspiration from McDrew. I'll put the picture of her Christmas lights skull as well as her Instagram handle. She is so talented. I don't know how she doesn't have like a million followers, subscribers, whatever. Like, she is so good at what she does. I wanted to do Christmas lights but in a fun, different way, so I thought that that was a really cool twist, and I'm gonna try to make it my own, put my own Alexa West flair on it. So if you're feeling jolly, hit the free subscribe button down below and ding the little bell so that you get notified when I post part 3 of my 12 days of Christmas makeup series. All right, let's get right into the video. But first, coffee. My Starbucks order, I think it's like the best Starbucks order. Unless you're on the West Coast and you have oat milk, which we don't have, it's such a bummer. I get a venti iced flat white with soy milk, and I usually get 2 pumps of the toffee syrup, but now they have the chestnuts and pralines, so I got that, and it's so good. So I have my like normal, I guess, face base on. I have my foundation, concealer, bronzer, highlight. Hold on, I have to sneeze. And I'm gonna start off doing my eyes, and then we're gonna move on to the actual skull, which I'm kind of nervous for. I've never attempted something like this before. I've never attempted a stunt this dangerous before. Here on my YouTube channel, you're gonna be the first to witness it. So first we're gonna do eyes, and I already primed my eyes kind of with my foundation and concealer, and I set it with a little bit of setting powder. You could always do that, or you could use an eyeshadow base. So for today's look, I'm pretty much gonna be using my Jeffree Star Jawbreaker palette the whole time because it's the only rainbow palette that I have that's vegan and cruelty-free, which is very important to me. And I almost just broke it. So I'm starting off with a Morphe M434. It's a thin, fluffy brush, but it packs on pigment really well. And I'm gonna dip into the shade Bubblegum. It's this nice light pink shade. I'm gonna start by tapping that right into my crease, following along the curve, not bringing it up too high to my brow bone, and then flicking it out at the end of my brow. Okay, so next I'm gonna grab my Morphe M330. It's a precise, fluffy brush, and I'm gonna dip into the shade Cherry Wet just to darken up my crease a little bit. And I'm gonna keep that really, really snug to my crease, and it's okay if it gets on your actual lid because we're gonna cut the crease in a hot minute anyway. So I'm just doing little mini windshield wiper motions, being careful not to bring it up too far and cover up that light pink. I just went in for seconds, and I'm just really deepening up that outer corner. So then on the same Morphe M330 precise blending brush, I'm gonna dip into the shade Raspberry just to darken up that crease even further and make it pop. And I'm really just focusing that on my outer corner, not bringing it up too far or into my crease too far. So now I'm going back in with the first brush that I used, that I put down that bubblegum pink shade, and I'm just gonna lightly go over the edges just to brighten them back up a little bit because they kind of get lost once you put on those darker shadows. Okay, so now to cut my crease, I'm using the iconic Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow primer, and I'm just gonna put some on the back of my hand first. It is such a white, full coverage eyeshadow primer. You could use concealer or anything that you want, but I'm probably gonna put some like loose glitter and a lighter color, so a lighter base would be best. And I'm gonna pick that up on a Morphe M421. It's a really tiny, flat concealer brush. Take your time on this because if you don't have a steady hand, or if you have anxiety and a coffee addiction like me, your hands are a little bit shaky, so bear with me. And now I'm just pressing any excess that I had on the back of my hand onto my eye now that I have kind of the shape carved out, just to build it up and make it really full coverage. So now I'm gonna take the same fluffy blending brush that I darkened my crease with, and I'm just gonna take it back into that concealer, or into that eyeshadow base rather, and just kind of blend the lines together, not too far in, but just where they meet, just so it's a nice flawless blend. I'm not picking up any excess eyeshadow either. I'm just using what's left on the brush and on my eye. Perfection. I have hooded eyes, so when my eye kind of like rolls up into my crease, I don't want it to get like the concealer on it and ruin it. How rude. If you guys have hooded eyes, you know the struggle. So I have these Anastasia Beverly Hills loose glitters that I got a while ago, and honestly, like, tell me that these don't look all the exact same color. But I managed to find one that has kind of like a rainbow reflect in it. It was very hard, don't get me wrong, but I did it. And it comes with this glue adhesive. I tried it out on the back of my hand and it worked fine, but like I kind of don't want to paint it near my eye, and I'm nervous if I paint it on my eye, it's gonna kind of like mess up everything going on underneath. Okay, I just did a tiny spot. Oh no, okay, we're good, I think. So I'm just painting that over the light part towards the inner corner of my eye. I kind of want like splotchy little like bursts of glitter, so it doesn't have to be perfect, and you have to let it get tacky for like 30 seconds, I think. So this glitter is the shade Glisten. I'm gonna put some on the back of my hand. Ooh, looks like a little snowfall. Okay, that's too much. And I'm gonna pick some up on a concealer brush. Oh my god, my eye is sticking. I have to hurry. And I'm just going to tap it. Oh my god, that's really pretty. It's like the colors of Christmas lights. It's all different colors. Wow, that looks so good. Can you see that? Can you see it? Is my lighting good? I don't know. Like when you think about doing something and you're not sure if it's gonna turn out good, and like it could either ruin it or make it like 10 times better, and it made it 10 times better, which makes me really happy. Okay, so I just put on some fake lashes and my top eyeliner on off camera, and now we're gonna work on the lower lash line. So with a really small domed fluffy brush, this is a Morphe E36, I'm gonna tap into the shade Bubblegum in the Jeffree Star Jawbreaker palette again, and I'm gonna try to pack on as much pigment as I can, but keep it really tight and nice and close to the lash line. For lashes, I use the Anastasia Beverly Hills lashes in the style Gorgina. Okay, so now that that's all packed on there, I'm gonna take the darkest shade Raspberry that I was using before, and I'm gonna pick a little bit of that up on the same brush, and I'm gonna focus that on my lower lash line, but only towards my crease. Not my crease, my outer corner. And I'm doing the same tapping motions, keeping it really close to the lower lash line, but focusing it only on the outer corner. And I'm just gonna flick it up towards my winged liner and my outer V just to kind of round off the look and make everything look cohesive. Okay, so for my inner corner and brow bone highlight, I'm gonna grab the shade Snack. It's a really pretty icy pink color. And this is another small domed brush. This is a ColourPop E10. And I'm just gonna put that right into my inner corner just to give it an icy pop and shine. And then on a Morphe M502 fluffy blending brush, I'm gonna grab a little bit more of that shade Snack, just a tiny bit, dust off the extra, and I'm just gonna lightly dust that on my brow bone. No, oh my god. That brush had black eyeshadow on it. How stupid could I be? It's a black brush and it has black eyeshadow on it, and it just, And I just cleaned all my makeup brushes, so the odds of the one that I pick up being dirty is like 1 in like 100. Okay, so on a clean fluffy brush, I'm gonna pick up some of that shade Snack and lightly dust it underneath my brow bone. And we are done with the eye portion of this video. So I saw a few different ways of people doing these like half facial skulls. Some people left their foundation on and some people didn't. I'm gonna be using water activated cream paints, and I don't know how that's gonna lay over foundation. I have two plans. Plan A is to just paint right over my foundation. Plan B is, if that doesn't work, I'm gonna take my foundation off from like the mouth here down and then just work on the skull. So the first thing that we have to do is trace out the outline and the placement of the skull. So for that, I'm gonna be using a NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Cottage Cheese. You would think that they could have picked a better name than Cottage Cheese for a shade name. Okay, so you kind of want it to start from the tip of your ear and kind of curve underneath your cheekbone and then meet at the tip of your nose. So like that. So I have my Maron water activated cream paint palette. This palette was expensive, but it was so worth it because you could do any type of character, like special effects look with it. I absolutely love it. I'm gonna try something that I saw somebody do the other day and spray setting spray instead of water into the cream paint. And I'm thinking that this might not work over foundation, that it might just mix together and become really muddy. I'm gonna try it, but I have a feeling that I'm gonna have to wipe off my base first and have like a clean blank slate. I actually think that it's gonna work. Because if you watched my last video, you would know the struggle that I had with the cream paints. I can't believe I posted that video. It's honestly like embarrassing, but like I worked really hard on it, so I posted it anyway. And I used the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dewy Set to spray the cream paints to get them activated. Most setting sprays I think are water-based anyway, so any setting spray I guess should work. I guess I could see in some spots kind of where the foundation is like lifting, but it's not bad enough where it's making me want to wipe everything off. Okay, so I think I did a pretty good job covering up my foundation with this white base. So now it's time to sketch in the hollowed out cheekbones. And for that, I'm still using the same palette, but I'm gonna use one of the black shades. I got these brushes at the craft store. They're painter's brushes. They have a nice wispy tapered brush on the end, so I really like them. Oh God, I really hope that I get this shape right, because if I don't, then it's kind of like ruined. So now I'm just gonna fill this in with black, and I'm probably gonna stop like about here just so I can kind of feather it out with a black shadow after and make it look really blended. This is a Jeffree Star JS11 brush. It's a flat concealer brush from his collection, and I'm just gonna go right in with the black. I'm sorry if I'm being quiet during this part because I'm so nervous, like I just want to get it right. So I'm basically just filling everything in with the black cream paint, and I'm kind of leaving an open C shape where I'm feathering it out and just kind of like making it into a light gray. And then using a black liquid eyeliner, I'm gonna make a line from the center of my lips connecting into that like hollowed out cheekbone. So the Jeffree Star palette that I was using does not have a black eyeshadow, but no fear, Miss Anastasia is here with her Soft Glam palette, and I'm gonna take this black shade Noir, and I'm just gonna set everywhere that I put the black. I'm gonna take a Morphe M434 brush, and I'm just gonna tap over everywhere that I put that black to really mattify it down and set it in place. And then once I get to this C shape, I'm gonna start to blend it and kind of like feather it out so it's a really smooth transition. I'm grabbing a more precise brush. This is a Morphe E36. Gonna dip into the same black shade, and I'm just gonna focus on these little details. So now I'm grabbing another NYX Jumbo eye pen. These are great for special effects makeup or like any type of like face work. And this is in the shade Black Bean. And I'm just going to trace over the white outline just so I can kind of create a shadow so it makes it look like the skull is sunken into the face. So I'm just blending this out underneath just to create a nice shadow so it seems like the skull is actually sunken into the face, just to add some dimension. Okay, just to save time, I'm gonna do this on the other half of my face, and then we can get onto the twinkly light teeth. Okay, so I have both sides of my skull outline done, and now it's time to move on to the Christmas bulb teeth. So I'm going back into my Jeffree Star Jawbreaker palette, and I'm gonna dip into that same shade Bubblegum, and I'm just gonna be packing on like little circles of pigment, and I'm gonna be alternating between all the different colors. So I'm starting off with the pink color Bubblegum, and I'm just gonna start packing that on my lip. And I'm trying to keep the shape pretty circular, but it's okay if it looks a little bit blown out, because to get that Christmas light effect, you want it to be pretty like faded and blown out anyway. And I'm just alternating between all the different colors of the rainbow, doing the same thing for each tooth, but kind of getting smaller and more faded out as I get back towards that hollowed out cheekbone. And I'm not really blending it out too much because I really want to get it as pigmented as possible. So I'm really packing and layering it on. So now with a Morphe M139, it's a really precise blending brush. I'm just going to go over the edges of all of the teeth just to really make the lines super blown out so they'll look really glowy. And then I'm going to repeat the same thing on the bottom, but I'm going to kind of go in the opposite direction and start with red in the middle and then kind of go outwards, just so it's a little bit like random, like how Christmas lights are. Okay, so I wanted to practice a little bit, so I went ahead and I did this side, and I think it came out pretty cool if I do say so myself, considering it's my first skull. And I also wanted to be able to explain to you better how I was doing it, so I'm going to show you how I did it on this side. So I have my ColourPop Cream Gel Liner, and this is in the shade Exit. It's just their white one. And then I have my Inklot Duraline, which is a type of mixing medium. It's really good for like gel eyeliners and products that have dried out. It helps bring them back to life, and it makes them apply smoother. So I'm just mixing that right in, and I have a Morphe, I don't even know the name rubbed off, but it's like a really tiny pencil brush for eyeliner. So I'm basically just drawing a teardrop shape and then filling it in. And I'm just doing that for each individual shadow color that I have on my face. And it's okay if it's not super perfect because I'm gonna trace over it with black anyway, but you want to try to make them as symmetrical as possible just so it looks right. And using white will kind of make it look more neon and like it's actually shining. So once I have all of my little light bulb teeth drawn on, I'm gonna just go back into my palette and lightly tap over each of the white bulbs with the same color. Just a really small amount just to kind of brighten it up, and it really gives it that neon light looking effect. And then going back into my Maron Paradise Cream Paints palette, I'm gonna use the black shade, and I'm gonna trace around the bulbs, and then I'm gonna make a line connecting it to my lips to make it look like it's on a little string of lights. This part is a little bit tedious and time consuming, but the more patience you have and the more you take your time, the better it's gonna come out. And now I'm just connecting each bulb to my lip to make it look like it's on a little string of lights. And now I'm basically just gonna do the same thing but upside down for my bottom lip. The bottom lip is a little bit tricky, so I kind of like to press my lips together just to make a flat surface, and then they end up turning out a whole lot better than if you try to like follow the curves of your face. I feel like they kind of look a little bit like candles, but we're just gonna go with it. Okay, so I put in my extensions thinking that we were done and this is gonna be the grand reveal, but I forgot that I wanted to add some glitter to the little light bulb teeth, because since I have it on my eyes, I think that it'll tie together really well and it'll help bring the bulbs to life more. So I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills glitter glue, and I'm gonna dab a little bit on each light bulb tooth just to give it a highlight to make it look a little bit more realistic. And I'm working with a few teeth at a time because it does take a second for it to cure and then the glitter will stick better. And I have a really tiny baby flat concealer type brush, so I'm just picking up the glitter on it and then dabbing it on each tooth that I put the glue on. I keep saying tooth, not my tooth, the skull tooth. I definitely think that it looked perfectly fine before, but just adding this little touch of glitter makes it look that more shiny and glistening and Christmas-like. I want to try to figure out a way to tether my laptop to my camera so that I could use it as a monitor when I'm filming videos, because sometimes I'm like way out of the frame or out of focus or something, and it's like I don't realize because I'm just like doing my thing. That was not a good idea to blow that glitter all over my desk. Okay guys, so this is the Christmas lights skull, all signed, sealed, and delivered, if I do say so myself. After seeing so many other makeup artist takes on it, I think that skulls and like face paint and all that cool stuff is something I definitely want to keep dipping into. If you guys like this video, don't forget to hit the free subscribe button down below and turn on the bell so that you could be part of my 12 Days of Christmas makeup series, and you'll get notified when I post part 3. You could also catch my Christmas series on TikTok and Instagram, both at Alexa West. And thank you so much for watching today's video. I cannot wait to see you in my next one. They do kind of look like candles.